Hey guys, Nicole here from Bake to Jour, and today I am making my first loaf ever with the sourdough starter I just made in my last video. Here I'm getting my levain ready so I can mix my final dough later in the day. It's day 5, my starter passed the float test, so I am mixing 100 grams of my starter, 200 grams of warm water, and 200 grams of AP flour so that my levain is ready for my final dough later in the afternoon. I am using the tartine recipe and method here for country bread. Since the recipe is posted online, I will share the measurements and the method, but I will also link the website below so you can check it out yourself from the source. Once my levain was ready to go, it took about 6 hours from mixing it in the morning to the afternoon when it was more than doubled. I had to actually switch containers, and that's why you see 2 different containers I'm pulling from to use my levain. I added 200 grams of that in with 700 grams of warm water, and then 100 grams of white whole wheat flour and 900 grams of bread flour. I'm gonna mix that really well and let this sit for 20 to 40 minutes, and that's the autolyse stage. Once that's sat and kind of relaxed, we're gonna add 20 grams of salt and 50 more grams of warm water. Again, this is the recipe from Tartine Bakery. I really love the final result with that whole wheat flour, so this is what I've been sticking to for my sourdough bread loaves. And this is the first time I get to try it with my starter from scratch. So I'm super excited. And right now I'm just mixing in that extra water and dissolving that salt and just work it all in. This takes a few minutes, probably about 7 minutes by hand and with your bowl scraper, and just keep working it till the dough is cohesive and all together, and then transfer the dough to a container. This is a Cambro container. Any container will work, or you can keep it in a bowl even. And we're going to let this rise for 3 to 4 hours. I'm keeping my dough in my Broad & Taylor proofer at 79 Fahrenheit so I can regulate the temperature. And then every half an hour, I'm doing a stretch and fold in the container with a wet hand. So I'll run my hand under some warm water and then do the stretch and folds. And I like to keep a close eye on my dough and kind of watch it as it grows over the few hours to make sure that my starter really is active and going to be able to power this entire loaf. So if you see in the beginning, it starts right around the 2 quarts part, and then by the end we're going to see more bubbles, more volume, and it's going to grow in size. It's not going to double in size, but by the end of the 3 to 4 hours, you definitely want to see added volume and more strength in your dough as you're doing your stretch and folds. You want to rotate your container and make sure you're doing your stretch and folds the whole way around so that you are developing gluten equally in your dough. And when you are not doing the stretch and folds, make sure your container is in a warm spot to foster growth and allow your dough to rise. You may need a longer amount of time for your dough to rise if you have a very cold environment. Notice here as I'm doing my stretch and folds that my dough has more strength, it's not tearing as much, and we have more volume in there too. You see bubbles on the top, and we're up to almost 3 quarts now with our dough. We're at the 4-hour mark now, and I'm ready to turn out my dough, divide, and pre-shape my dough. So once you turn out your dough or you get your dough out of your container, make sure you flour your surface so it's easier to handle, and then divide up your dough however you want to fit whatever containers you're using. So I am using 3 banneton from Frontiersman, and then I have 1 round loaf banneton from King Arthur. I need to get more uniform ones so I can have all the loaves the same. But I'm going to focus on 1 loaf here for this video's sake. So divide up your dough evenly for your containers, pre-shape, and then you're going to do a bench rest. Let these rest for about 20 minutes and then you're gonna do your final shaping. So here I'm doing a pre-shape of just a round, pop it on the table. Once you come back in 20 minutes, it's going to lose its roundness a bit, be a little more flat. That's normal. Pick it back up, start from the first one that you pre-shaped, and we're going to do our final shaping. For this banneton, I'm doing it in more of an oval shape, stretching my dough across each other, folding it over on top of itself to develop strength, and still being gentle though, so we don't pop all the bubbles and the gases that we've worked hard to get in there. And we're going to pop this with the seam up into the banneton and pinch those seams together. And then we're going to do a cold fermentation overnight, 12 hours in the fridge before we are ready to bake. In the morning, I was ready to bake. I preheated my oven at 500 degrees, just as the tartine recipe calls for. You want to preheat your oven with your cast iron inside of it so your cast iron is nice and hot. And then go ahead and score your bread. I like to squirt it with a lot of water, douse it with water so it's going to steam in the oven. Put it in, put the top on, and in the oven. Lower your temperature to 460 and then bake for 20 minutes with the top on. And then after 20 minutes, remove the top. And then I baked for another 15 minutes for this size of a loaf. And look at this beautiful loaf. We've got some blisters on the skin from the cold fermentation, a really nice ear from the scoring. And thanks to the cast iron, there's this beautiful crust and ear. And then let's look inside this loaf. It turned out very nice. For my starter only being 5 days old, I was really impressed with the irregularity of this loaf, the volume and oven spring I got from the loaf, and it tasted really good. I do have to say my more mature starter had a better taste and more well-rounded aromas and flavor, but this one from scratch turned out really well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Happy baking!